Very good morning. I am Shilpa. Welcome you all to the NCERT live phone-in program. And our today's topic of discussion is air pollution in multidisciplinary perspective. And to discuss this further, in the studio we have Dr. C.V. Shimre, designated as an Associate Professor at Department of Education in Science and Mathematics. I welcome you, ma'am, in today's show.
Thank you.
So let's proceed to understand our today's topic of discussion. Ma'am, our topic of discussion is air pollution in multidisciplinary perspective. What exactly the meaning of this term, multidisciplinary perspective?
Yeah, and so multidisciplinary perspective, when we say that, that means that as the word says, literal translation also says that we are going to take different dimension or different disciplines into consideration, because as you all know, air pollution, when it is discussed, it has always been very science leaning or science oriented. Or more than that, it is always about numbers, you know, and so it is here. But then when students or a citizen face air pollution, it is not just about science, it is about the health issues, it is about how it impacts their economy or how it impacts different aspects of their life. And so it needs to be dealt in the perspective of different disciplines in different subject areas, and not just to be restricted in science alone. That was the basic reason that I have chosen this topic for today's discussion.
Okay. So ma'am, here we have got a question from Megha. She wants to understand air pollution and detrimental effects on children's brain. The need for multidisciplinary approach to the issue complexity and challenges. What it means, can you discuss?
Yeah, as you all know, air pollution causes different kinds of health issues, like, and especially when Megha is talking about a child's brain, then specifically I can mention about lead, and so which impacts the nervous system or the brain development of brain. And so not just about brain, but it impacts so many aspects of health, like respiratory systems, the blood circulation ultimately impacts that. And not just direct impact, it also aggravates other diseases that we all that we could be facing. And so it has, again, multi-dimensional impacts on our health as well.
Right. So we all have learned that air is a mixture of gases. And that too, the gases are present in some specific percentage. So can we understand about some air composition?
Yeah, when we say air, as you said, it is a mixture of gases. So we can just have a slide for the benefit of the viewers. So as you can see there, we can broadly classify the gases present in the air into two, like which are in almost a steady concentration, and the other group is almost in variable concentrations. Like this slide that we have, it shows air, different gases in almost a steady concentration, like nitrogen, oxygen, argon, neon, helium, and so on. But you must understand here, like methane. So if we emit more of methane, then maybe the percentage can change. Then we can go to the next slide about the variable concentrations, where the gases can change. The concentration of the gases present in the air can change, like you have water vapor, carbon dioxide, ozone, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and so on. And so this set of gases that we have under the variable concentrations, this changes a little bit. It's not so drastic, but you are aware about carbon dioxide, so it changes. And so that's how we broadly classify the gases present in the air.
Right.
Yeah.
So here we have got two terms, steady concentration and variable concentration. Like, if you could discuss more about it.
As I said, it's simple. Steady concentration, that means they are almost in a steady state, like it circulates in the atmosphere from different systems. We have the ecosystem from the environment to the living systems and back to the environment. So it circulates like, and so it's almost like in steady concentration. But when we say variable concentrations, that means there is a scope for changes. For example, water vapor can change because of so many other factors. When there is rainfall, then humidity increases, and so you have more of water vapor concentration. And so things like that, like carbon dioxide, as I mentioned. So that can change. If we emit more of carbon dioxide, then carbon dioxide rate will increase. And that's what we are seeing right now, that because of human activities or anthropogenic activities, the carbon dioxide concentration is increasing, and which is leading to the talked about global warming and climate change. And so, yeah.
So we just understood about the air composition. So ma'am, let's come to the main question, what is air pollution?
Yeah, air pollution if we, in simple words, if we define, it is anything added, the concentrations we have already mentioned, anything added beyond that, any matter or any contaminants added beyond what we have mentioned in the list under the variable and the steady state, steady concentration. So anything added on that and that is harmful, that is known as air pollutants, and that causes air pollution. And so this can cause, like, it has impacts, we already discussed about the health impacts. Besides that, it also impacts environment. We just discussed about global warming. We also have ozone layer depletion because of, again, air pollution, I would say. Then we also have impacts which affects the structures or built structures, for example, the statues, the buildings, the bridges. Like the famous example that we can quote is that of Taj Mahal. Yes, that's so popular. And so air pollution can have so many, impacts on different aspects of our life, property, and the environment.
Ma'am, here I want to understand, when we, let's say, additionally, if some component is added to the present gaseous mixture, we call it air, so then we call it the air is polluted, or when we say that any particular component of the air has been increased, as comparatively to the present amount. So that also counted as air pollution?
Yeah, air pollution, as I said, it is just an addition. Anything added when the concentration changes, like carbon dioxide, we said 0.00 something. So it's a very low. But then when you add more to that, then it increases, the percentage increases. Then you say that air is polluted now.
Right.
So that's how it works, you know.
Okay. So here we will take one more question, ma'am. It's from Kripala, and she wants to understand what is the difference between air pollutants and toxic air pollutants.
One line I can say this: most of the air pollutants are toxic. Some air pollutants may not be as toxic as it is, so toxicity, it's all about toxicity. So some air pollutants are really toxic, and so those air pollutants which are really toxic to, when we say toxic, we mostly refer in terms of the impacts on human health. And so when it is toxic, then that's what we consider when we talk about air quality index. And so we do not consider all the air pollutants that is in the air, but we pick a few components of the air pollutants so as to consider them under the air quality index, you know.
Okay. Yeah. So here I'm taking another question, ma'am, from Brahmini, and she wants to understand, what do you think about environmental pollution in the BRIC countries, mainly in India? Will it hinder economic development? Like, I'm amazed to know, does it affect the economy?
Yes, that is the reason that it has to be dealt in multidisciplinary aspect. That is the basic reason, because in science what we teach is the composition that we just mentioned about, and some health impacts. We list down the health impacts on because of air pollution. So that's all we study in science. But if we talk about air pollution, then how it impacts economy is like, see, somebody falls ill because of air pollution, then you tend to spend money on that for treatment. Then government comes out with some kind of subsidies. And so it's a cycle which is ultimately impacting the economy of the country, not just including the households and including the families and everybody. And so it is said that especially for developing countries, because of air pollution, it costs us like more than 1% of our GDP growth, and that's a lot. So if we can save that more than a little beyond 1% of that GDP growth that we have invested because of air pollution, if we can save that, then it can really help us in terms of GDP. And so it is so much connected with economy, and so we cannot just leave it for science subject or science teachers to deal with it, because science teachers may not have so much expertise about discussing the economic aspects of that. And so economics teachers will be more well versed in addressing such issues. And so it has to be brought into different disciplines. Like in science, science teacher teaches this way, this aspect of air pollution. Then in economics class, economics teachers can again discuss the impact of air pollution in the economy of the country or the household or the society or the states or whatever. And so, and that's the reason that it is so important to deal or discuss this topic of air pollution in a multidisciplinary perspective.
Okay. Ma'am, for anything good or bad, there is always a reason to happen it. So what's the reason or the causes for the air pollution?
Air pollution is caused by many, there are many causes to it. Maybe we can have a slide for the benefit of the viewers again. So one, it is, we all talk about burning of fossil fuels. And where do we use the fossil fuels? We use it for running our cars, our trucks, our buses, airplanes, ships. And so we use fossil fuels. When we burn that, a lot of pollutants are released into the atmosphere. Then another cause of air pollution, when we burn the biomass. For example, we so much talk about stubble burning when November comes, especially in Delhi. So Haryana, Punjab, so we start blaming each other because of stubble burning. And so that's another cause of air pollution. Then besides that, we burn the landfills, and that's very, very dangerous when it comes to, in terms of air pollution. And then another domestic wise. So we burn different kinds of biomass in the form of maybe cow dung cakes, or maybe firewoods, or things like that. So that also causes a lot of air pollution. Then construction. Construction, there's so much construction going on these days, and so that causes a lot of air pollution because of dust. And so there are so many other causes of air pollution as well. Then there are natural causes of air pollution. That which we mentioned before, which I just mentioned, are the anthropogenic or human-caused air pollution. But there are natural causes of air pollution, like volcanic eruptions is a very good example. Then you also have the dust storms, which you have no control over it. And another pollutant, which is not really considered under air pollution, but which has to do with a kind of pollutant or allergen in the air, is we all know about pollen grains, and so many people are allergic to it. So that can be one aspect when we deal with air pollution. It is not, grouped under air pollutants as that, but then we can still talk when we are talking about air pollution, so that we can take precautionary measures as well.
So, ma'am, here I noticed two terms. One is point source and one is mobile source. What exactly is this?
When we say point source, like we say that industries emit a lot of air pollutants. Industries which are static. Industries do not move around, and so that is static. That is a point source. And the mobile sources, like the cars, which keeps on moving, the source changes, and so that is a mobile source of air pollution.
Okay. So we are very much aware about the air pollution, I say, but we are not aware about the impact it creates on living and non-living beings. So how can we understand it, Dr. Shimrai?
Yes, we discussed a few things about its impact on health of human beings, and so that's the biggest concern for us, because we are always concerned about our health, and everything that we do, ultimately we do it so that we can live long, live healthy. That's the ultimate goal of everyone. If we earn something, then we want to live healthy. If you're a billionaire but you're not healthy, then there's no point. And so everything that we do is towards living healthy, towards living longer, towards living a happy life. So that's the ultimate goal. And air pollution definitely is impacting that. If we do not take care of that, or if our air is so polluted, then to some extent we may be able to bear with it or handle it. For example, we have air purifiers. Rich people can afford that, and so you have air purifiers to clean your indoor air inside the house. You can travel in your air conditioner cars where you have all kinds of purifiers. Then you can get into an office where the air purifiers are there and things like that. But it is not just about health that is impacting, as we mentioned, environment. Then it impacts the statues and buildings, and other living organisms as well, plants. Plants are also impacted by it. The growth is impacted by it. There are a lot of studies that have been done in the impact of air pollution on different plants, plant growths as well. And so it is not just human beings, it is other animals, other plants, and other structures and the environment that is impacted by air pollution.
Right. Ma'am, when I was reading one article, I got to know about this, that even if we are at home, we are not inhaling pure. So there I got to know about a term which is indoor pollution. So could you please let us know the difference between the outdoor and indoor pollution?
Yes. So pollution, when we talk about pollution, we talk in terms of ambient air pollution, that is outdoor air pollution and indoor air pollution. And so the focus mostly turns out to be like the outdoor air pollution. It's like air pollution has caused so much death, but almost equal number of deaths are caused because of indoor air pollution. That is the pollution that is occurring because of our practices, for example, the way we cook, the kind of biomass that we use for cooking, or the kind of equipments or instruments, or the kind of things that we use inside the house. For example, paints, the paints that we use. So that can that has some chemicals in that can contribute in air pollution, indoor air pollution.
Okay.
Then you have the dust from the walls, the dust from various sources inside the house. Then you have dust from the mattresses. As simple as pillows and mattresses can also impact the air inside the house, and the oil or the fire that's coming out from the kitchen, so that can also impact. So there are so many things that can cause air pollution inside the house as well, and so that's how we distinguish between this outdoor air pollution and indoor air pollution. So outdoor air pollution, we have if I can extend to the discussion, for outdoor air pollution, we have almost, all the readings that we have, readings in the sense of air quality, are mostly based on the outdoor air pollution. And so for indoor air pollution, we still are not able to get individual, for individual households. So that we're still not able to do that. Yeah.
So ma'am, you have collected few data which we can see on the slide. So if you could just make us understand this?
Yeah, we can put on that slide. Yes, this slide accounts for pollution. This is not just for air pollution, but this also includes water pollution. But you can see the numbers, the staggering number. For example, 9 million people died because of pollution, that is air pollution and water pollution. In India, 2.5 million. So this is the data of 2005. In China, it is like 1.6 million. So this includes both air pollution and water pollution. That's because of both. We can go to the next slide, I think. Yeah, this slide is specifically for air pollution. And so as you can see there, 1.24 million deaths in India in 2017. And this includes outdoor and indoor air pollution. And so you can see there, 0.67 million from outdoor air pollution, and especially the particulate matter. Then we have 0.48 million deaths from air pollution, indoor air pollution. So you can imagine, you can understand a number, how much life is being lost because of air pollution, how much air pollution is contributing to the death of so many people in the country. Yeah.
So we understood about the air pollution and its hazardous effect on our health. So ma'am, how can we understand how actually we can deal with it?
There are several ways that we can deal with it. We can broadly classify them into, we can again put up the slide for the benefit of the viewers. So we can broadly group them into two, short-term measures and long-term measures. For short-term measures like the odd even, which was popularly implemented a few years back in Delhi, we all know the odd even. I don't think I need to explain that. Or maybe I think I explained in one line for the benefit of those people, students who are not from Delhi. So odd even is something like a number plate, number which ends in odd number plies on a certain day, then a car or vehicle bearing a number plate ending in even number plies on the road on a different day. And so that's how it is being rotated, like odd and even. Then we have other measures like short-term measures, restriction on heavy vehicles inside cities. Like we do not allow heavy vehicles, trucks, big trucks and all to ply inside the city, so as to control or reduce some kind of air pollution inside the city. Then we also put on rules like restrict construction, building constructions and all. So it was stopped. I think a few weeks back we had that, and so all the construction works were stopped because we know that from construction works a lot of dust is emitted, and so that causes a lot of air pollution. And so that is another measure. Then we also have we take into consideration some measures like indoor planting of indoor plants, so that it can absorb some of those air pollutants. Then we also have something like using air purifiers, and we also avoid going outside during specific time of the day so as to avoid the peak hours of air pollution. And so those are the short-term measures. But when we come to the long-term measures, there are so many ways again. For example, policies, laws that can have a long-term impact. Then we can have emission standards, like we can have very ambitious emission standards so that we can control air pollution. Then we can also have, when I say emission standards, it is something like, it includes both the vehicle as well as the fuel. So we'll come to that, I'll come to this slide a little bit later. So let me go back to the previous slide where we talked about the long-term measures, the policies and the laws. And so policies and laws can play a big role, as I said. And we already have actually a few laws in place. For example, the Air Prevention and Pollution Control of Pollution Act 1981, and we also have the Environment Protection Act of 1986, and we also have the National Green Tribunal, which was set up in 2010, I guess. Yeah, so these are some things the government has worked out so that we can take long-term measures. Then we also, recently the nation came up with the national NCAP, what's the long form of that? Just losing that. National Control of Air Pollution, something like, yeah. So it's a national measure a program that has been set up by the government of India so as to tackle air pollution. So this is going to be implemented from 2009. That's what it says. And so government is doing a lot of things, I would say, towards air pollution, to check air pollution for in the long run. So those are some of the things that is being done. Then again, the emission standards, as I said. So there are several ways that we can check or control air pollution. It's not easy, but there are ways we can handle that. Yeah.
So, ma'am, since 2017, AQI is a term which has just taken much of hype, and still it's in vogue. But still the knowledge concerning this is nil amongst the people. So how can we understand AQI?
Yes, AQI, as we all know, stands for Air Quality Index. And so even in textbooks, we have not mentioned about it because it was not a very popular index that was used when the textbooks were newly written, I would say. So, or maybe it is not very science, and so we have avoided that. So whatever the reason is, and so Air Quality Index, now when we talk about air pollution, we talk in terms of Air Quality Index. And so what is this index? So we have categorized this air quality into different categories or different groups. For example, in India we categorize into 6 groups, like good, satisfactory, moderately polluted, poor, very poor, and severe, the previous one. So what is this good? And so when the air quality is between 0 to 50, then it is considered to be good. Satisfactory, 51 to 100. And so we have a scale, a range where you measure this air quality, air quality, and you give an AQI to that. And what do we take into consideration when we say air quality index? So we have the slide with us there. And so as you can see at the slide, there are only some air pollutants that is, considered when you are calculating the air quality index. As you can see there, the PM10, that is a particulate matter 10. That means the particulate matter, or the matter which has a diameter of less than 10 micron. So it is really, really tiny. Then you have PM 2.5, then you have NO2, then you have ozone, then you have carbon monoxide, then you have SO2, ammonia, lead. And so these are the gases that is considered when you measure the air quality index. And students might be curious to know why carbon dioxide is not there. Because as you can understand from there, air quality index we talk in terms of our health, how it impacts, how it's going to impact our health. And so carbon dioxide, when you compare with these gases, then it really do not have much impact. And so that is the reason that even though if it is an air pollutant, but it is not considered when you measure the air quality index. And so that's how we I mean, some standards have been worked out to measure the air quality index. And maybe we can get into some of, because we talk so much about air quality index, and we always say that AQI is really high in India, in many cities in India, but do we even know what is the situation in other countries? And so maybe it will be good for us to just have a look at some of the cities in different countries in the world, so as to have a little idea about how well we are doing or how bad we are doing. So maybe we can go to the website. Yes. So as you can see there, we can just go to Delhi first.
Okay.
So this is a website which gives you the real-time air pollution, I mean air quality index, real-time. That means it is right now, these numbers that you're seeing in your screen, this is the air quality index right now. So as you can see, there are different places in Delhi. I would say that it's still good comparatively. Otherwise, we always have air quality index beyond 300. So a few weeks back, it was like 300 plus, never below 300. And so right now, we are seeing something below, even below, I mean, I could see many below 200. And so that's good. I would say that it is good for our standard, even though 200 to 300 comes under poor, and 101 to 200 comes under moderately polluted. So it is still moderately polluted, but for our standard, because we had such a bad quality air, and so now if you have something below 200, then we are happy about it. And so let's go to some other city, like for example, let's go to Beijing.
It's
yeah, Shanghai, that's fine. Because China is one country where air pollution is considered to be really high, and so it is something like, it is really high. And so, but now China is like taking measures to control the air pollution, like doing away with all kinds of using coal-based heating devices, and so they are switching over into gases or electricity, so which is it is polluting lesser. And so that is the reason that we are seeing a lot of improvement in the air of China. And so if you go look into, we don't have much time, and so we'll not look into other countries, but if you look into other countries like the US, the air quality index will be something like, many of the places, almost most of the places will have below 50. That comes under good. And so you cannot even imagine somewhere in Delhi having an air quality of 50 or less than that. And so that tells us how bad our air is and what we need to do, how careful we need to be, and what measures we need to take. So, yeah.
So we have already done a lot of damage to our environment, and air pollution is one of the consequences of it. So how can we even initiate to undo it?
As I said, we have the short-term measures and the long-term measures. It is always done whenever the air quality, the quality gets really bad. Short-term measures we put into check, then we have the long-term measures. Government really have to work hard towards this. Individually, we need to do how we can save, how we can avoid emitting air pollutants, like how can we drive less, or how can we plan pollutant absorbing plants. There are some hyper accumulators, plants which are known as hyperaccumulators. They accumulate air pollutants, and so how do we do that? How do you come out with some technologies which can help you, get rid of those things, air pollutants, and how best can you help everyone to tackle air pollution? For example, always we come out with some measures like mass. Mass is fine, air purifier is good, but what about the poor people? Can they afford those masks? Can they afford the air purifiers? They are the ones who do not even have a proper building. And so how do you are those solutions even just, even right? So what are the solutions that we need to come out with which will benefit everyone, not just the rich or those who are doing well, but equally those who are poor, economically poor? And so, yeah, we have to look into all those measures. It's not just about coming with a high-tech solution which can help a section of people,
Right. So here in the slide also we can see few of the alternatives available?
Yes, you can see there in the slide. So there's a lot that we can do. So these are just few of those, ride bicycles whenever possible. And so things like you can see there, and you can go back to the slide, you can watch the recordings of this. And so these are some of the things. I'm sure viewers might have thought that, might be thinking right now that, oh, there are many other ways. And so yes, there are many other ways, but we need to start implementing those things. So that's the most important aspect of taking measures to control air pollution, that we need to start taking action. So that's important.
So like we are running out of the time, so here I will try to conclude it by saying that today we learnt about the air pollution and how to deal with it and what kind of impacts it create on a human race. So it's a right time to take initiative towards dealing with this biggest scenario, which we are not even considering it an important one. So thank you, ma'am, for sharing such information.
Thank you.
So if you have any further query and the question regarding this, then you can dial into our toll-free number, or can send an email to us, or can contact us via our email, via our social media platforms. Till then, take care and keep watching Kishore Manch.